Welcome back, everybody. I hope Monday and Tuesday went well for you. You were comparing fractions with the same denominator. Today we're going to change things just a little bit and we're going to compare fractions with different denominators. Let's start with the first example. Let's compare 3/8 and 3/4. Let's see what 3/8 looks like. So let me start with my picture. Okay, let's go ahead and draw a pan of brownies maybe, or sheet pizza, whatever you feel like. And if you want to do this with me, go ahead and hit the pause button, grab some paper, and work these problems with me. It's probably easier than just sitting there watching. Alright, so here's my hole, and let's do another hole for our second pan. And let's copy it. Let's make sure it is approximately the same size. We can't compare fractions unless our whole is the same size. So in our first picture, let's go ahead and divide that into 8 equal groups. Let's count and make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we're eating 3 pieces, let's shade 3 of those. This represents 3/8. Okay, thumbs up if you agree. Okay, let's look at our second picture. This whole needs to be divided into 4 equal groups. So let's start by splitting it and representing this whole into 4 equal groups, and then 3/4 of this pan is going to be eaten. When you're finished with your picture, take a look and see if you can tell which is the bigger fraction. If you were thinking 3/4, you would be correct. 3/4 is greater than 3/8. We could also represent that on a number line. Let's do a number line for 3/8. So let's think back to what we did last week when we were doing fractions on a number line. Here's our whole. We'll divide this into 8 equal groups. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal groups. Find 3/8 on the number line. 0/8, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. And let's look at the next one. Let's make our whole, again, let's make our number line the same size. Our whole needs to be the same size. This time we'll divide it in 4ths. And let's go ahead and plot where 3/4 would be on the number line. 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Now just by looking at that number line, you can see that 3/4 is closer to 1 than 3/8. So 3/4 is the greater fraction. Let's try another one. And if you have to hit the pause button to catch up, pause and do that. I'm trying to go slow, but if I'm going too fast for you, hit the pause button. Alright, let's try another one. This time let's compare 2 fractions. Let's compare 5/12 and let's compare 3/6. Alright, so let's look and see what 5/12 would look like. So let's draw a picture. Let's represent that with a picture. So let's draw our big pan. for a nice giant sheet cake. And let's split this into 12s. I like to split it in thirds, and then I split it in 6, and then I split each half. That should be 12s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have our 12 pieces there. Let's shade 5 of them. That's 4. And there's my 5th piece. Okay, that's what 5 12ths looks like. Doesn't matter which 5 you shade. All right, now let's take a look and let's draw what 3 6 looks like. Keep in mind that your hole needs to be the same size. So I'm going to make a copy of that pan, not make it too big or too small. This time I'm going to split this pan into 6 equal groups. And in order to represent 3 6, I need to shade 3 of them. Okay, now you can compare 2 fractions there. Which one looks like it's the bigger fraction? 3 6 or 5 12ths? If you thought 3 6, I agree with you. 3 6 is greater than 5 12ths. Let's see how we could compare that with the number line. Let's start with 12. Okay, here's our 0. There's our 1. Okay, let's split it into thirds. If we split our thirds in half, we should have 6. And if we split our 6 in half, we should have 12ths. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 equal parts. Let's find 5 12ths. 0 12ths. Count with me if you want. 1 12th, 2 12ths, 3 12ths, 4 12ths, 5 12ths. Okay, 5 12ths. Now let's do a number line to represent 3 6. So let's start by making it the same size as the one on before it. This time we're going to split it into thirds. Okay, we're going to start into thirds and then we'll get to 6. So there's thirds. Split your thirds in half and you should have 6 relatively equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now let's find 3 6. Count with me. 0 6, 1 6, 2 6, 3 6. 3 6. Using this number line, you can see 3 6 is greater than 5 12ths. Not by much, but it is bigger than 5 12ths. It's just a smidge closer to 1 than 5 12ths is. 3 6 is greater than 5 12ths. So when you're comparing fractions with unlike denominators, it's helpful to make pictures or number lines. But my biggest tip for you is to make sure that when you're comparing with pictures or with number lines, that your whole is the same. Let's try another one. All right, let's go ahead and compare 2/8 and 3/16. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the picture. Here's my brownie pan. This brownie pan is going to have nuts in it. These brownies will have nuts. So make your hole. This hole is going to be divided into 8 equal parts. So take your time to do that. Erase if you need to. Hit the pause button if you need to. This is tricky stuff we're working on today. Okay, so now let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 equal groups. And let's pretend 2 people take brownies with nuts. Okay, that's what 2/8 looks like. 2/8 of that pan is gone. All right, let's try to find out what 3/16 looks like. So when you're making your picture, make sure your hole is the same size. Pretty close. And now let's split it into 16 equal groups. I can double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that's a 4 by 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. So I must have 16 parts there. This time 3 people take brownies without nuts. Take a look. What do you think? Is 2/8 greater than or less than 3/16? If you're thinking greater than, you're correct. Notice how all this part is gone and almost all of it's gone over here. So 2/8 is definitely greater than 3/16. All right, let's try that. Let's compare with the number line. 0 to 1. My first number line is going to be divided into 8s. Split it in half. Split it in fourths. Split your fourths. And you'll have 8s. Let's go ahead and identify where 2/8 would be. 0/8, 1/8, 2/8, 2/8. Let's try the same for 16ths. Okay, these are going to be tiny. You can even tell by the picture. These pieces get a lot smaller than 8s. So make sure your number line is the same size. And let's split it in half. And then split it in fourths. Then split each fourth. Now you have 8s. Now split each 8 in half. This should give you 16. These are really tiny. Now let's count 3/16. 0/16, 1/16, 2/16, 3/16. 3/16 is smaller than 2/8. You can tell it is smaller. 2/8 is closer to 1 on the number line than 3/16 is. So 2/8 is greater than 3/16. Today when you practice, there's just a Kahoot for you to try. When you do the Kahoot and you put in your name, please put in your real name. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to identify who's doing what. So if you use a nickname, I'm not going to know who's doing it. So use your real name, and then I can check to see how you're doing with this. Again, if it's tricky, just be patient, try again, and if you're stuck, that's okay. Send me a message. I can help you, and we'll do this the rest of the week anyways. Take your time, and good luck. Talk to you Friday.